The fall of the kingdom and family. Pursuing soldiers chasing them all the way. Husband Prince Ethan kicking his children off the wagon to minimize the weight. Lily said that insurgent troops don't kill children, and they can escape by following displaced refugees. I used the threat of Papa's military power to finally dissuade him, and he tearfully pushed concubine Lily off the wagon. The next day, news came out of town that the concubine had been humiliated and killed by the rebel forces, and I heard that she had written a book in blood, and that every stroke was a stroke of love for Ethan. Upon learning the news, Ethan gets drunk and turns his head to forget about her. Later, he devoted himself to power, and with the help of me and my father, he restored the country. On the day of the Ascension ceremony, however, he chained me to the back of a horse with my children and dragged them to their deaths. Clutching the bloody book Lily left behind, he coldly threw my child's corpse in front of Lily's memorial shrine. "It's your fault for making me throw Lily off the wagon. She died so horribly. You all deserve to be buried with her." Opening my eyes again, I go back to the moment Ethan drove the child off the wagon. In this life, I'm going to send him and Lily down to the Yellow Springs together. Your Majesty, the pursuing soldiers are right behind us. If we are caught up, we will all die. The rocking of the carriage and the noise in my ears woke me up. I opened my eyes into the galloping scenery, only to see Ethan sitting in front of the desperately pumping the horse. Concubine Lily is full of anxiety. Her mouth is in my sight 1-1. We need to lose weight to get the horses to run faster. I hear those insurgent troops don't kill kids. Ryan and Evelyn are small enough to get away with being amongst the displaced refugees. I followed her gaze and saw a pair of children cowering in a corner. Weren't Ryan and Evelyn killed by Ethan along with me? Thinking of the intense pain I felt when I died, endless hatred rose on my face. But Ryan and Evelyn's tender faces in front of me were so real. Had I been reborn? I lunged over to them and held them in my arms, tears falling at once as the image of them in their last life being dragged bloody behind a horse by Ethan appeared in my mind. One of them is 5 and the other is 7 years old. At the moment they are trembling in fear by the change, but seeing me shedding tears, both of them reached out their little hands to wipe my tears. Lily is still talking. Sister can't afford to let go of the children. Is it possible that in Sister's heart husband's life isn't the most important thing? My husband is our heaven. If there is a chance Lily is willing to give up her life for my husband. Ethan was impressed by her words, and reached out his hand towards the child in my arms. Victoria. In my last life, I directly knocked Ethan's hand off, and also sneered at them. Concubine said she was willing to lay down her life. You let her jump instead. My dad's pickup is in Willow Creek. Ethan, I'm telling you, if you touch my child, they'll show you what it means to not die. My mother's family, the House of Westridge, holding 50,000 heavy troops. Not to mention Ethan is now on the run. Even when he was a prince he had to look up to my father. Ethan gritted his teeth and weighed 6 times, looking at the pursuing soldiers that were getting closer and closer, and finally pushed Lily off the carriage with tears in his eyes. With the weight of one less person on the wagon, the 4 of us managed to get rid of the pursuing soldiers and ran to Willow Creek to meet up with my dad. The next day, however, news came from the capital that Prince Ethan's concubine had been trampled by his soldiers and died vomiting blood. And it was rumored that she had written a letter in blood when she died, in which she had sobbed every word and stroke of her love for Ethan. When the news came, Ethan said nothing, but got drunk alone in the attic, and never mentioned Lily again, but worked hard to bring together the powerful and the rich to prepare for the restoration of the country. I thought he had forgotten, and together with my father, I tried my best to assist him in recovering the lost land and asking for the world. However, on the day of his ascension ceremony, he tricked my father into the palace and poisoned him on the spot, and I and a pair of children were tied up and dragged behind his horse with hemp ropes. Sharp sandstone grinding through my body, flesh and blood. I and the child by the violent running horse, upside down, broken organs. I kneeled in front of him, begged him to let go of the child. Instead, He threw us in front of Lily's memorial shrine and molded us in a stone statue for 1,000 years to confess our sins to her on our knees. That's when I realized we were the ones he wanted revenge on, and I refused to close my eyes until I died. And now I led the baby straight to the cart and motioned for Ethan to pull over. Ethan was relieved when he thought I'd figured it out. Victoria, you can have another baby if you don't. Fuck off. I raised my hand and gave him a slap, then jumped out of the carriage with the child in my arms. Ethan was stunned and called out to me anxiously from behind. What are you doing? Young Victoria, are you crazy? This is not the time for you to play small. Do you want to get me killed? He is not reluctant to give up on me, but he is afraid that my father will pursue me if I die. Lily, on the other hand, has a look of dark joy on her face. Your Highness, I can't believe that the princess is willing to lay down her life for you to draw away the pursuing soldiers. There's no time left. Let's go quickly. After saying that, she snatched the horsewhip from Ethan's hand, and the carriage took off with the rolling smoke. And I tugged the child and ran towards another fork in the road without hesitation. Chang'an to Riverside Town, 800 miles. The last life after Ethan. We do not dare to take the official road. Take some small roads, rugged mountains, behind the pursuing soldiers, but also from time to time encountered a few waves of road blocking the robbers. Ethan is used to the high and mighty and fear of death. This way all the things are in my care. There are several times in danger. Was also almost pushed out by him. I was almost pushed out by him when I was in danger a few times. Thanks to the fact that I grew up in northwest China and know some kung fu, I was able to protect my child and escape to Willow Creek in one piece. I end this life. I want to take another route, because I know that Ethan's Lord Regent, General Adrian, has led troops to the capital to quell the rebellion at this time, and he took this route, so I think we should meet each other. General Adrian has always been stationed in the northern border. Is a rare general talent, the last Ethan can in just 10 years to restore the war on the throne, in addition to my father's credit, but also because General Adrian from the beginning to the end did not join the war. I don't know what it is about him that doesn't interest him in the throne, but I want to take a gamble and pull him into my camp for me. I tugged on the child and ran as hard as I could, my heart almost about to fly out. Finally the sound of horse hooves came from the front. The man at the head rode a datered steed, dressed in purple, with a lingering coldness throughout his body. Seeing us, he called a halt to the procession, slightly hanging his head, his phoenix eyes slightly raised. Why here? My good nephew didn't bring you along when he fled for his life. I wiped the dust from my face with my sleeve. I jumped off on my own. I was waiting for you, Lord Regent. Can we have a chat? He sized me up meaningfully with downcast eyes for a long moment, and suddenly spoke when I thought I was close to refusing. Sure. General Adrian ordered the army to camp in place, and had a bowl of hot goat's milk cooked for me. I took a sip of the hot goat's milk, and my heart, which had been restless because of my rebirth and escape, finally settled down a little. The two children were taken away to rest by the servants cooking in his barracks, and at the moment there were only the two of us in the tent, so I didn't nag. Chang'an chaos. All over. The feudal lords also have to bring troops for rebellion. Lord Regent at this time into the capital is afraid that also want to share a piece of the pie, rather than fighting each other. It is better to find an ally. I am willing to cooperate with Lord Regent. He let out a laugh, his gaze cold. You came to me to make Ethan the emperor. Am not interested in being an emperor, and am even less interested in helping someone else become one. It's not for him. It's for myself. Although Lord Regent is always in the northern border, he should have heard about the matter in Chang'an. Ethan and I were given in marriage by the emperor. There wasn't much affection in the first place. All I ask for is just the decency of the main family and the future of my children. But he only wants to use us, mother and child, to pave the way for that secondary wife. And if he becomes the emperor, neither I nor my children will have a good ending. There are so many people still alive in Shen's royal family. The throne should be held by everyone who can. Lord Regent, what do you think? I raised my head to look at him with a burning gaze. After saying this, breathing was almost audible in the tent. General Adrian was silent, as if pondering the truth of my words. I was a little apprehensive, wondering if he would think I was too far off the beaten path. Yet he suddenly smiled meaningfully. Interesting. This is a favor I can do for you, but not for nothing. What do you want? He lowered his eyes. My shadow reflected in his extremely deep pupils. Oh, you first. After the matter is accomplished, this king will ask you for it. After the negotiation, General Adrian found a carriage and asked a dozen of his men to send me and my child to Riverside Town, where we finally arrived after 3 days of traveling. But when we entered the city, we saw that it was all white, with countless paper money flying in the air. However, I remembered that this was not the case in my previous life when I escaped back to Riverside Town. I was full of doubts, and just when I wanted to ask, I heard 2 passers-by beside me discussing. Have you heard? General Jing's daughter, Prince Ethan Consort, died in the hands of insurgent troops, together with 2 small children. The day before yesterday, Prince Ethan also almost cried down in front of the general's house. Really poor. Oh, even the body did not snatch back. Today in the general's house mourning. Hey. Poor general. A big H. White hair people send black hair people. Ah. Ethan even directly told my father that I died. I was angry and laughed. I led the children towards the general's residence without stopping, and heard Ethan and Lily's cries from afar. Ethan was kneeling in front of my coffin in linen clothes, wailing and crying. Victoria, ah. It's my incompetence that I failed to save you and the child. Why did you guys just abandon me like that? How am I going to live in the future? On his side, Lily was also dressed in white, crying even more sadly than Ethan. Sister. How could you go like this? Lily still wants to serve you for the rest of your life. Waiting for the future. The king will surely kill those insurgent troops to avenge you and the little sheetsy little county lord. My poor sister. Ah. Ethan plays so well. Not to go to be a playwright is really a pity. I just wanted to interrupt but saw Ethan cover his red eyes and stand up. He staggered a few steps, rushed to a direction to kowtow. Father-in-law. All is my son-in-law's incompetent. I can't apologize to you. You will still be my father-in-law in the future, but I really can't bear to see you so sad. Victoria treated Lily like a sister during her life. Why don't you recognize her as your goddaughter and let her serve by your side? Victoria will also feel at ease in her 9 springs. Lily also kowtowed twice with Ethan's voice, her right hand gently caressing her belly. Lily will treat you as her own father and take good care of you for her sister. When the child in my belly is born, you will be the child's grandfather. The father in the corner had already cried unrecognizably. His tall back was hunched over, and when he heard their words, he staggered as if he was about to fall at any time. Angry and anxious at the sight, I took the child by the hand and stepped through the gate. I heard that someone here said I was dead. As I stepped through the gate, Ethan's kowtowing froze in place. Lily's tears were still hanging on her face and her eyes were glazed over with terror. And the only thing in my eyes was Dad. The scene of him dying in front of my eyes in my previous life intertwined with his current pale appearance as I lunged over to hug him. Dad. He looked at me incredulously until he was sure that I was really alive before he dropped tears of surprise. Victoria. Father's Victoria. You're alive. Ethan reacted then, looking at me and the 2 children in shock. You're still alive. I sneered. What else? The king is that eager for me to die. He reacted to the fact that he had lost his temper. And only then did he put away the shock and panic on his face and came over to me in a fake attempt to take my hand. No, Victoria. This king is too happy. When you took the initiative to jump off the carriage with your child to distract the pursuing soldiers for me, we all thought that you were dead. And now it's really great that you're alive. I shook off his hand and swept my gaze over everyone present, saying in a voice that everyone could hear, I took the initiative to jump off the carriage. Wasn't it the king who had to push Ryan and Evelyn off the wagon to reduce the weight when he was running for his life because he thought the wagon was going too slow? I jumped off the wagon to protect the children. As the saying goes, even the fiercest beast doesn't harm its own. The king was so ruthless at the time it's shocking. Panic flashed across Ethan's face. What are you babbling about? I pointed at the two children. I'm bullshitting. The children can testify. If you don't believe me, let's ask the children. Ethan wanted the throne and didn't want to leave a reputation of being greedy and vicious. He tried to explain. It was an emergency situation. Lily was just suggesting it. Everyone got away with it. Victoria, you've got it all wrong. Lily also stood up. She looked up and down at the clothes on my body. Her face flashed a trace of twisted unwillingness, and spoke softly. Yes. How could the king give up his sister and child? He teared up on this journey. Because of hanging on to his sister, the whole person has lost weight. I know sister is in between the child and my belly. But can't slander the king like this. But speaking of Chang'an to Riverside Town is full of 800 miles. This way don't know how many displaced refugees and bandits. Elder sister didn't be them. Can peacefully arrive at Riverside Town, really fortunate. Ethan's eyes instantly flashed a flash of suspicion. Up and down to look at me. Ching Victoria. Chang'an to Riverside Town 800 miles. We have a carriage in order to arrive so quickly. At that time insurgent troops right behind us. How can you be so fast? He said the meaning of his words was self-evident. And at once all the eyes in the hall were turned toward me, measuring and scrutinizing me, scanning me ceaselessly. I was not the least bit afraid and asked back. I've come back from the dead, and the king is here to doubt my innocence. Ethan's eyes dodged. His voice tinged with skepticism. This king is not willing to doubt you either. But Lily and I only managed to escape in the carriage. How could you, a weak woman with a child, hike 800 miles with pursuing soldiers behind you? What happened here speaks for itself. There were also some officials and family members who had fled from Chang'an in the hearse, and they began to whisper when they heard Ethan's words. Our family took an escort and rode in a carriage to get to Chang'an. Prince Ethan shouldn't be. Yes. This journey was treacherous and unusual. Maybe she fell into a den of thieves and then escaped again. It's not good to say. If this is really no innocence, it's better to die in Chang'an. It's really a disgrace to our women. No one noticed a touch of smugness crossing Lily's face. Xiao women are still very concerned about their reputation. In their eyes, chastity is more important than their lives. So now that they saw me standing here alive, their eyes were filled with disdain, as if I should instantly die as a thank you for my sins. But I didn't care in the slightest. I stepped forward and slapped Ethan hard in the face. Young Victoria, are you crazy? Lily rushed over to block Ethan's face and I shone another slap at her face. I, Victoria Zheng, am innocent. The king was thin-skinned and disregarded our mother and son's lives. But the heavens have eyes. Our mother and son's lives were not meant to be. So it happened to meet Lord Regent's army, and it was Lord Regent who sent people to send us back. Confront them if you don't believe me. After some questioning, which did fit what I said, Ethan faked a smile and resumed that gentle demeanor. So it was Lord Regent who sent someone to send you back, and you didn't make it clear. Causing me to misunderstand, I mockingly smiled. The king came up with suspicions and accusations. When did he ever give me a chance to make things clear? Lily hurriedly smiled and walked between us, as if this topic wasn't started by her. His Majesty is just too worried about sister. Sister has been beaten and scolded. Her anger should have subsided. From now on we are still family. I pushed her into Ethan's arms. Who is family with you? But a second wife from a cheap nationality. Still want to worship my father as godfather. Is it that if I don't come back again you still want to overrun the whole general's house in my name? Lily couldn't say it to me and covered her face and whimpered. Ethan frowned with a dissatisfied face. Xing Victoria, you have grievances coming at me. What is the point of targeting Lily? She is pregnant. After giving birth to a child she still has to call you first mother. She wants to recognize her father-in-law as her father also out of kindness. Do you have to be so catty? You are neither gentle nor kind nor so jealous. You really don't deserve to be my Ethan's crown princess. Then I won't do it. After this escape I have seen clearly the true face of the king. I will dissolution of marriage with you today. The throne of the king's consort. The king could have let that simple and kind concubine Lily in your arms do it. Lily froze for a moment, then a trace of amusement flashed across her face. Ethan also froze for a moment. He then pushed Lily away with a look of realization on his face. Victoria, how can you say such angry words? Lily, she's just concubine. She has no intention of taking the crown princess position. Okay. The king knows you're aggrieved. There are so many people. Stop it. He still thought I was making a scene. I laughed coldly and directly let people serve pen, ink, paper and inkstone. Today everyone is here. Let them be a witness. You and I husband and wife dissolution of marriage today. From now on no longer related. Seeing my firm gaze, Ethan was then sure that I really wasn't in a temper. Now the world is in turmoil. He wants to recover the lost land but also rely on my father. Of course he does not want to dissolution of marriage with me. C cannot persuade me. He looked for my father. Abbot-in-law. Victoria is acting like this. You quickly say something to persuade her. My father looked at me with a worried face. This dynasty is not tolerant of women. After dissolution of marriage I will face a sky of gossip. And in a chaotic world, my father is afraid that I have less to rely on. You. After all, you still have Ryan and Evelyn. The king. He has already known the wrong this time. Dissolution of marriage, this kind of words, or do not say it again. Father. Now fleeing for his life, he can use his children's lives for his own. Who knows what else he will do in the future. I came to father's ear and whispered a few words. He threw up his sleeve and sighed. That's just it. This is in the end between you and the king. No matter what, Dad will always be on your side. Seeing that my dad stepping in wasn't good enough, Ethan finally panicked and tried to bring out the holy decree to pressure me again. But now that his emperor father is dead at the hands of insurgent troopers, what's the use of taking the holy decree? I let my father first send all the guests away, and then calmly looked at Ethan. If the king promises to dissolution of marriage with me, we will get together. If the king does not promise, then, as my words fell, a group of government soldiers surrounded. Ethan gritted his teeth and pointed at me indignantly. Xing Victoria, you're good. I did something wrong but you can't even give me a chance to correct myself. I let out a cold laugh. Giving him a chance to kill me again. Lily saw that he was still hesitating, so she spoke softly. Sister wouldn't be disgusted with her husband's fall from grace, so she's going to dissolution of marriage. Right. As the saying goes, seeing true love in times of trouble, hardship is only temporary. As long as your sister doesn't give up in the future, the king will surely remember your sister's favor. Her words are on the surface to persuade me, but in reality, she is accusing me of being snobbish and heartless with Ethan. Who cares the most about face? Sure enough, Ethan burst into a rage when he heard this. So that's how it is, Victoria Zheng. I didn't even see that you are such a snob. In the future, don't you regret it? Saying that, he snatched the pen as soon as he signed the dissolution of marriage book. Then whisked his sleeve away. After the dissolution of marriage with Ethan, dissolution of marriage, I carefully analyzed the current situation with my father. Since the insurgent troops have entered Chang'an, several vassals with dissenting views can't help themselves, and have marched to Chang'an in the name of fighting the rebellion, and the outside world is in a mess now. And what we have to do is to keep our troops still, while they are all fighting for Chang'an now. I and my father to accumulate grain and grass, looking around for capable people to improve weapons. Because of the memory of my past life, I let people to the then famous 2 small generals have been under the banner. After doing all this, I hired Mr. for Ryan and Evelyn. After the escape, they both just suddenly grew up. I sighed remembering how they used to be naughty and refused to read. Auntie and your father, dissolution of marriage. Do you guys resent Auntie? At that, Ryan and Evelyn shook their heads at the same time. The slightly older Ryan said, "Father doesn't have a mother in his heart and doesn't care about us. If it wasn't for a mother, we'd be dead at this moment at the hands of insurgent troopers." Evelyn nodded as well. "When I was in the house, Father only had mother concubine in his eyes as well. We often didn't see him for 3 to 5 months. Sometimes we couldn't even remember what he looked like. I only had mother and my brother, and that was enough." Seeing the two children undisturbed, I then put my heart down. After another 2 months, the situation had settled down a bit, and as more and more officials fled over, they went so far as to want to rebuild the court in Riverside Town to install Ethan as emperor. Several groups of people had already come to the general's residence to persuade my father to support Ethan's ascension ceremony. Since leaving the general's house, Ethan and Lily have been welcomed back by the old courtiers of the former daxia. The old emperor is dead, and Ethan's brothers are also dead, which is why these courtiers have hit on Ethan's idea. I didn't think of assassinating him, but now that a large number of old Xia courtiers have come here, Ethan, as the late emperor's own son, it's not easy to explain to the world if he dies here. I discussed with my father and decided to stall them first. However, Ethan can't wait any longer. This day, several of my father's former colleagues invited my father to go out to eat wine. After half a day but still not back, I was about to go out to look for him. I saw my father's boy hurriedly ran in. "Miss, it's not good." The general suddenly fainted after eating wine and was detained by Prince Ethan's men. I rushed to that official's mansion with my men, only to see Ethan sitting in the main seat wearing a dragon robe. With a bunch of courtiers standing in the room, my father fainted in his seat, and 2 of his boys were searching for something on him. I walked over and kicked those 2 boys away. Ethan coldly sat on the seat. "Victoria Zheng, you came at the right time. Hand over the military seal." I ignored him and helped my father up. He slapped the table. "Bold. Why don't you kneel when you see this king? Do you want to rebel?" I laughed coldly. "I remember that the emperor has already died. You call yourself me. Who recognized it? You have to have that ability if you want to be the emperor, Ethan. I won't spare you if my father has a death." A courtier stopped me. "Zheng, the country can't be without a king for a day. This world is the world of the Shen clan. You won't embrace Prince Ethan's ascension ceremony nor surrender your military power. Do you want to rebel? Ethan is the first emperor's son. The bloodline is orthodox. We do the subjects should support him to recover the lost land back to Chang'an. Cannot be born out of the sight of the mind." Another courtier also frowned and opened his mouth. "You risked great disrespect, and Prince Ethan dissolution of marriage is already guilty. Now will be honestly handed over the military power. Prince Ethan can also look at the military seal's sake to pardon you." Ethan nodded like alms. "As long as you are willing to hand over the military seal, you will be appointed as a noble consort after this king's ascendance ceremony." Heh. I was shocked by Ethan's level of shamelessness. "Who am I to make you a noble consort?" Ethan frowned. "If you hadn't messed around and dissolved of marriage with me, the throne of the queen would naturally be yours. But now the throne of the queen has already been promised to Lily by this king. It's too late for you to regret it." Regret. With you, dissolution of marriage I never regret. It's a dream for a sinister, cunning, immoral and vicious person like you to still want to ascension ceremony. After I said that, I pushed away the courtiers who blocked the way and helped Dad to walk out of the door. At this time suddenly many soldiers came out from all around and surrounded us. Ethan's gaze was cold. "If you don't hand over the military seal today, you won't be able to walk out of this door. What if I insist to leave? Then this king will have to kill you 2 disruptive sons of bitches and always search for the military seal." At a time the swords were drawn and the scene was chaotic. I came in a hurry and didn't bring a few soldiers, while Ethan had prepared for it. Ethan's words carried a few warnings. "Qing Victoria. Originally I still want to wait for my ascension ceremony to give you a noble consort position. Since you don't know how to be nice, then don't blame me for being cruel. Do it." As his words fell, the guards have drawn their knives against me. I also drew my knife and stepped back. However, the next moment there was a sudden rumble of hoofbeats from outside the door. General Adrian walked in with a group of guards. Lord Regent. He stood to my side in everyone's astonished gaze. Did you ascension ceremony with my permission? Ethan doesn't know why General Adrian is suddenly here and instantly panics. Why didn't Lord Regent send me a message in advance when he came over so I could send someone to pick you up? General Adrian snorted coldly. If I remember correctly, Prince Ethan fled for his life and came here. Now how come he is acting like a master instead? Ethan pulled the corner of his mouth. Lord Regent is joking. There is no king's land under the sky. Is Lord Regent specially rushing over to congratulate me after hearing that I am going to Ascension ceremony? They'll catch up with Lord Regent after I finish teaching this offending bitch a lesson. He thought that even if General Adrian didn't agree with his Ascension ceremony, he wouldn't stop him from teaching me a lesson in front of others. However, to his surprise, General Adrian stepped forward and blocked in front of me. Wrong. This king is here to stop you. You don't deserve this throne yet. Ethan froze. What does Lord Regent mean by this? Now that I am the only one left of my father's heirs, of course this throne should be mine. Could it be that Lord Regent is trying to? General Adrian flung the whip in his hand. The throne. Qin's Jiangshan has already died. And you're not the only one in this world with a royal bloodline. This king does think that Miss Qing's son is much more suitable than you. Ethan hurriedly explained. I have dissolution of marriage with her. Lord Regent. Lily is only my rightful consort now. She is also pregnant. When the time comes, it will be the child in her womb who will inherit the Qin family's kingdom. Ryan and Evelyn followed Jing in a lousy way, not remembering me as their real father at all. They don't deserve to be my children. General Adrian let out a laugh. Who said this king cares if he is your child or not? As long as their mother is Miss Jing, what does it matter if they are your children or not? In addition, they disown you. That means it's you as a father who isn't doing a good enough job. If someone like you wasn't given a marriage by your royal brother, how could you be worthy of Miss Jing? Ethan finally reacted to the fact that we are on the same side at this point. I said why Lord Regent sent someone to send her back from a long way. So Lord Regent and this bitch were involved long ago. General Adrian shrugged. So what? As long as I'm around, you'll never be able to sit on the throne. Ethan was in a rage. He suddenly pulled out his sword and lunged towards General Adrian. However, he was kicked out by General Adrian in the next moment. Ethan fell to the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. General Adrian shook off his hand and let the men drag him down. Ethan was subdued. The soldiers following him were killed on the spot. The few soldiers were killed on the spot. The few soldiers were killed on the spot. Were killed on the spot. And the courtiers were imprisoned. After all this was taken care of, my father woke up. He didn't expect his former colleagues to drug him, but luckily it was just ecstasy. After the reception, my dad and General Adrian teamed up to take on the insurgent troops and vassals. In this life we were well prepared, and with General Adrian's army, everything went smoother than in the previous life. It took 10 years to successfully subdue those vassals in the previous life, but it only took 3 years in this life. I felt like everything was a dream when I walked into Chang'an again with my children. After 3 years of war, Chang'an has long lost the prosperous appearance in the memory. The road is the people with yellow skin and countless broken walls. Everything has to be rebuilt. I ordered a team to prepare a register of the victims in the city. Send those of the right age to repair the walls, and send the rest of the old and sick to special shelters to take care of them. At this time someone mentioned that Ethan in prison wanted to see me. I've been so busy these past 3 years that I almost forgot about him. Ever since General Adrian locked him up, he has been locked up in the prison. I ordered the guards to torture him every day, but I didn't expect him to have a hard life. After 3 years he still hasn't died. I'm also curious about what he's become now. With the thump, thump, thump of chains, he was thrown in front of me by 2 guards. After 3 years he was blind in one eye. His body was thin with only a handful of bones left. When he saw me he struggled and crawled towards me. I couldn't help but cover my nose when I looked at him. Waste for waste. Send him to repair the city wall. Back then, I originally wanted Lily to go and give Ethan company, but I didn't expect Lily to immediately run away when she heard that Ethan had been captured. She changed once to Ethan love deep not move appearance, fell in the belly of the child, climbed a small vassal as a secondary wife. The vassal of the main room is not a good with. See Lily from time to time with her husband blowing pillow wind. Naturally cannot tolerate Lily. Take advantage of the man out of the war. That the main room directly to the Lily tied up and sold into the kiln. When the vassal came back, he had a new lover, and he didn't care if he knew that Lily had gone to a brothel. Later, when we conquered the vassal and entered the city, Lily was already rotten to the core, so I tied her up and sent her to Ethan for companionship. But I didn't expect her to be scared to death when she saw me. But I still sent someone to tell Ethan what happened to Lily. Today he wants to see me should also want to avenge Lily. It's really a deep love. I shrugged my shoulders and buried my head into the folds in front of me. After another month, the capital finally restored the peaceful appearance. In the eyes of all the expectations, Ryan sat on the throne. Ascension ceremony day. Ethan somehow get rid of the people guarding him ran out. He stood at the entrance of the palace and barged in like a madman, screaming that the throne should be his. I had him dragged to a deserted place. He was covered in dust, dirty like a beggar on the side of the road, with only one pair of eyes staring at me non-stop. Victoria, I was wrong. I remembered what happened in my last life. I'm the one who should be the emperor. I remember the previous life. You accompanied me in battle and risked your life to shield me from the sword. And Ryan and Evelyn, sitting in the back for us at a young age. We should have been a happy family. I looked down at him coldly. Since you remember your past life, you should also remember how you killed us. Happiness. Does that mean sending you to the throne and then being brutally and mercilessly abused by you? His eyes widened and his gaze averted. It was all a misunderstanding. Victoria, I didn't mean it. I've recognized Lily's true nature, and from now on we'll have a good life as a family. But you can't give the throne to an outsider just to get back at me. General Adrian is ruthless. His mother is a foreigner, and he has foreigner blood flowing in his body. Such a person can't be trusted. After his ascension ceremony, you won't have a good ending. While he hasn't ascension ceremony now, let's snatch the throne. It turns out that he thought that the person in today's ascension ceremony is General Adrian. I let out a laugh. The problem you are worried about won't come up. He is different from you. Ethan blushed profusely. How can you trust him so much? You've only known each other for how long and you can trust him so much? I kicked away his hand that was reaching out to pick at my outer robes and was about to speak when I saw General Adrian come up from behind me. Of course Au trusts me, and if she doesn't trust me, does she trust a wolfish thing like you? Ethan froze, repeatedly looking at the purple official robes on General Adrian. Shouldn't he be ordained? I lowered my head and kindly explained to him. The man at the ascension ceremony today is Ryan, Lord Regent and I Regent. What? Are you still happy with this outcome? The corners of his mouth moved to say nothing and tears flowed from the corners of his eyes. I was wrong. But one day husband and wife 100 days nah. Can you not send me back? They beat me and do not give me food. You save me. Good Come on people. Drag him down and beat him to death. The surprise on his face instantly turned into panic. Reaching out his hand over to tug on my outer robe was General Adrian stomped hard on his hand. Several guards hurriedly dragged him down. Not long after the distant screams. And after a while the screams subsided. After confirming that he was completely cut off, I had someone light a fire and burn him to a handful of ashes. Then I had someone sprinkle the ashes into the latrine. After dealing with Ethan, I rushed back to the Great Hall and watched Ryan take the throne, with Ethan dead and Ryan on the throne. I felt a lot of relief. Ryan was still young, So I took him with me and taught him little by little what to do to be a good emperor. Evelyn was obsessed with dancing with swords and spears and practiced her martial arts with my father, who was also very happy and even said that he wanted to let her be a female general. But I end this life. We have all lived a life of peace. In this life, we all lived well. This day, after dealing with political affairs, I drank some wine and ran into General Adrian at Royal Gardens, remembering the condition I once promised him. Have you thought about that condition? He looked down at me. The sand and wind of the last few years of war had not only not aged him, but made him a little more handsome. My condition is very simple. Just want you to accompany me. Huh. I froze and raised my head to look at him. Hearing his words, I remembered that we had met before marrying Ethan. General Adrian was not recognized back by the emperor until he was 15 because of the foreign lineage in his body. And before that he had been alone in the world. At that time I often charity gruel distribution for the poor people. Twice he drank my porridge and remembered me. Later, he was injured by someone also I passed by and saved him. Then he was recognized back by the emperor. Only the emperor disliked the foreign lineage on his body, and did not attach importance to him. So he went to the northern border from the lowest soldiers to start, and finally used 10 years to become an invincible general. He wanted to go back to the capital to ask the emperor to marry me. But unfortunately at this time I have been given by the emperor to marry Ethan. At that time, the chaos in Chang'an, he led the troops into the Chang'an is not for the throne, but for fear that I am in danger to go to me. Looking at his affectionate gaze, and remembering his dedication to me in these years, I took the initiative to hold his hand. Life is but a few short decades. Perhaps I should accept a new relationship.